I mean, totally crazy stuff. Anyhow, let's go to 2018. Oh, I would not recommend any of this. I was very impressed with this, would recommend this. Good stuff, all good stuff here. Everything good. Except this batteries, I would not recommend this to anybody. This is not really what it's said to be. Smartphone. Yeah, this telephone came broken. Basically, a video camera would not have, I think, the image stability function, electronic image stability, EIF, something like this function, operational. And so what I did was, I complained about it, and the next thing you see is, I got the telephone just as I was promised the case would be. I got the telephone free of charge. The only thing that cost me were taxes, the import taxes to Slovenia. No, don't worry about the stuff that I said, that I promised under MK Ultra the case would be. I actually have the proof for this stuff. Sounds crazy, but I have proofs for this stuff. I wouldn't say this if I wouldn't have proofs, because I know that the next day I would have psychiatrists here. They watch this stuff. They listen to everything I say. So I don't say anything stupid. I don't say anything I cannot cover my ass afterwards. This stuff that you see here, the tempered glasses, the protection for the smartphones, Androids, none of this stuff ever arrived. Nothing arrived. And there were others I have ordered, I don't even see here. None of them ever arrived. This stuff here, I had a problem because of the shoes, because of the stuff like this, and so my feet were bleeding. The pain was actually quite unimaginable to explain how severe that was. This thing had fallen apart to me like within a week. Not because I would do something wrong with it, but again because of somebody else. This thing here, either was this stand clip holder adapter, or was it maybe the previously a little tripod, mini tripod that I had purchased? I'm not really sure.
Here's what it is. Control Shift Alt Delete. This should prompt Task Manager, but it doesn't. Why? It might be because I have disabled few services in Control Service Panel. Might be the case, but the fact of the matter is sometimes hard drive would run 10, 15 more minutes, 20 minutes, and I couldn't even move cursor on the screen because remotely they would activate me, and Windows index, index search, all kinds of stuff I didn't need. And so the only alternative to this stuff was to disable quite a few things, and I really did. I did so about, right now I would say about, I estimate about a month ago. Now everything is pretty much kaput. Alright, do you see this? Do you see it? Now look at it. Look at it good. What do you see now? Do you see it? Look. What do you see? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. When I would go and I would type like this, you would have, this was also the case in a Hungary, in a Budapest, it would sometimes delay for like, let's say, let me count, 5 seconds before the text would appear. And for this I was told on our MK Ultra that it is transmitted all over the internet. Like, you know, you would have some sort of keylogger, something like this, and that thing would be used to go all over the internet. I don't think this should be the reason for this kind of stuff anyways. This is what they have suggested MK Ultra they would use against me, and you're not going to be able to prove, you're not going to be able to say when the file was created, and then
stuff like this. And as I stated, that you would go and you would disable something in services and you no longer would be capable to pull up control panel. I don't know. I don't know. Is it possible? Is it not possible? I don't actually have idea about this. I don't think that something like this actually is possible.
And I don't even think this should be a real reason for this kind of stuff. Under MK Ultra, however, I was suggested that I'm not going to be able to prove absolutely anything. Even for the items that they will destroy me in the past, what they would do is they would modify me in dates and time and anything on the computer they're going to do remotely. And they did. They did. So you can see that the stuff is totally irrational. Sometimes it appears that item was, basically a file was modified prior to what the file was created. That is irrational, but that's why I have the neighbors here who do this kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to name individual. Individual is handicapped, he's got a problem, health problems. That's why I'm not going to name him. But, you know, other individuals here that do this bad stuff, they could get the decent jobs. They could work like everybody else does, but they don't. They choose crime instead. But they did promise me they're going to do this kind of stuff, so that's why what you're about to see is going to look a little bit strange like this. But make no mistake, the item that you're about to see was purchased before November 2017, destroyed within less than a week from the purchase.
The first item, the one that you have just seen, was purchased basically on October the 8th of 2017. And then the second one, I don't know, that was in 2018, doesn't matter. What matters is the first one, because the first one was destroyed within like a week, finished off.
And substituted afterwards with, so what can I say? Here it is. Here are the two items again. Totally brand new item. Totally brand new item. The only thing that is missing is this thing here. And the other item is basically right here. I'm using one to record this thing. It's totally brand new. Okay, so let this kind of stuff not surprise you. What you are about to see was destroyed completely. Spring came out here. This thing was totally ripped off, and I don't know what else as you're about to see. Everything was destroyed. And neighbor came by, and guess what he did? The next thing he did is he put everything he destroyed like this, new items instead.
This is yet another file I obtained yesterday from the old hard drive. I gotta say, hard drive is almost impossible to access. I got a lot of files that no longer can be opened. And there is a whole bunch of stuff like screen recordings that cannot be opened at all. What you're seeing supposedly was created sometimes on January the 26th, 26, yeah, and modified supposedly on January 24, 24, yeah. 2 days earlier than what it was created, this thing was modified, according to whoever, and you are about to see this thing. And second thing is, I'm quite pleased because it's January 26th, 24th, whatever, that this thing was modified, whatever was done to it, created, whatever, because it's even a little bit closer to the truth. You see, from the beginning I hoped for a little file that would be earlier than this, but now I realize this actually is good, because neighbor, well, I think that's about like 14 days ago, something like this, have switched this with brand new item. And that pretty much is what happens when your neighbors, when government is working according to MKUltra program, because they know at any given time at what stage the program is and what they are to do. That much in respect to micro cameras here, folks. They are real. This thing was destroyed, whacked, and thrown away. Actually thrown away. I don't even know where I had this thing. It was like in a trash bin, something like this, and all of a sudden it appeared again back as new. Now, do you still remember when I told you guys how they screwed up my hard drives, my operating systems? They did. They messed up everything. Here's the perfect example, one of examples. As I was told, you're not going to be able to tell when it was created, this and that. Here you can see this file was actually modified before one was even created, thanks to my neighbors.
Now, there is something that is really bad with Chinese sellers. It is. And it might not even be with Chinese. In this case, might not be with Chinese, but it's something that I have noticed on more than just one occasion. And most likely also was with Chinese. Either way. I say this because you also have a lot of Americans, even Russians, British, Germans in Chinese mainland, Beijing, also in Hong Kong. What's bad about these people is that when you ask them a question, because why? It's bad because the sellers know that governments are playing around with items of the people, and rather than when you ask them, is the item that you have sent me your item? The only thing you ask them for, you don't even ask them for a refund or anything like this. Rather than to say yes or no, I should say answer with yes or no, these people will offer you a refund. So that is actually a very, very bad thing when it comes to buying, from China. I would say that is something that I do rate extremely low because it's totally dishonest toward buyers. For the sellers, it's better to keep mouth shut because China has deals with other governments, and through those deals, they somehow make money through the hard work, through the slavery, basically. They do somehow manage to make money. And in this process, these people will rather lose money than to say anything that could damage foreign government that is engaging in crime against their people. So that's something that I have to say I am very disappointed with. Here is a perfect example. This item supposedly was purchased on January 9 of 2018. And as you see right there, I don't know how much you can see this or not, absolutely the item was listed as up to 85 millimeters mount bracket. However, this item was, you could open one, you could up to 70 millimeters. This thing would go, see, clip range up to 85 millimeters. And another thing is, it did not fit the description of what you see here. It was 69, 68 millimeters that you could widen this thing here, and it's the same case with all other brackets holders, which my neighbor have changed at his convenience. Yeah, I paid for this, what you see here, and he switched to whatever his needs were. And on top of that, this item have had a hole right here in the middle that was larger, bigger than the one on the bottom. And it was just a perfect proof for me that I could use against my neighbor. Now, I did send an individual a photo. Of course, I sent him a photo with the item. And I did ask him, I requested from him the information. I asked him, I said, "Sir, could you please tell me, could you just tell me simply a question?" I did not ask him for a money return or anything like this. I asked him clearly. I said, "Would you please tell me if this item is yours?" And what he would do instead is, he would get very, very nasty with me. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with you? This and that. I provided him with the photos, with everything. And the only thing I got was just a really nasty message. And offer on how he does not have a problem basically sending me the item back. You see here, this is just not the proper answer. I did explain to him, I don't want your money. I don't want anything from you. The only thing I want is the answer, yes or no. Item looked different on the photo from items he sold, and rather that he would confirm me with yes or no, he even turned nasty against me. And he is even suggesting here, it is just like on the picture. He did not say on which picture, because he didn't have to say on which picture, because it was the government that contacted him and told him, ordered him on what to say, how to say. You see, this is that nasty, bad part about Chinese sellers that I do not like. Or I should say sellers based in China. Like I said, might not even be a Chinese, this individual. Gmail made sure, make no mistake about that, there's supposed to be photos here. As you see, all the emails were delivered into my email here. Gmail made sure, together with the eBay and everything, that all the photos which I have provided him with, all these photos disappeared. And you could not find basically the photo anywhere here. See this? All the photos disappeared. So, the only picture obviously that he would allude to would be this one here. But again, this is not what I got. And on top of that, I didn't even get answered with yes or no.
It's just much more than that, as you're about to see. Look at this. Two of them look like this, exactly like this. You see this? Which is very different from this thing here. This has got like a little sponge, something like this, soft thing. See? Very different, right? And so the thing here is that two are with a sponge like this, and the other two are like, instead with that sponge, they have like screws. I don't know, might actually be even the same thing, except the sponge is removed. I don't have a clue actually, because I don't have the time to play with these things. The only thing I can say is that my neighbor actually promised me that he will do this, and if he's not going to be sure what exactly that I have when I'm going to be doing the count, what he's going to do, he's going to go and he's going to give half. It's all explained in continuation. Why and how, this and that. I know a little more. I'm learning this. I'm learning the tricks. None of the stuff that I have ordered online actually was like this, with this foam here that you see. Probably this would even cost more money if I were to order this. And I have checked, none of them ever came with any foam. All the pictures from all the items as I have ordered were like this. Well, what's interesting, why I got into this issue, I'm going to tell you why. Because one of them had a hole drilled. Listen, about the same size, just about the same size as this one here is. And the thread inside, no mini triplet could fit on it. So it was like totally obvious that something was not in place. Something was just totally wrong, already as it was new.
Okay, for me to ensure that tomorrow things are not going to change, look at this. Look at the openings where you have seen the spring was out. For you to pull the spring out like this, you would actually have to destroy this thing. And that thing, make no mistake, that thing was totally destroyed. And you can clearly see this thing here is new. That's why I'm video recording this stuff. Let me see something here in respect to this. If you would want to pull the spring out, you would have to destroy this thing. So this is actually that matters more than this basically foam that also was removed. I have removed one because it had fallen apart. Everything had fallen apart, so I didn't have a choice other than to remove this thing and wrap around what is a double-sided foam, and then use even SIM cards, telephone SIM cards, to keep telephone in place. I mean, stuff like that. Not a slightest evidence of anything that would suggest that this actually was modified in any way. This looks like, I'm gonna say brand new, totally brand new as a matter of fact, but let me look at this. Yeah, it does look like a brand new. This is probably from the telephone that was like brand new, except for this thing here. I don't know what this is all about.
From the listings becomes evident that this is not what I have purchased. It becomes evident that all the items that I have purchased actually do look like this and not like this. So again, I don't know, is this actually the same item as when this thing is removed or something like this? I have no clue. The only thing I'm saying is basically,
Okay, no different from exactly as you have seen. The case was with the individual, big deal, whatever, which this is his second item, by the way. I bought another item from this individual. Look at this. Bought another item here on what was February 5th, 2018, just to see if the item that he's gonna send me is gonna fit the description of the first item. Bought another one like this. And another one also was advertised with this totally same features. This is why I have bought one. Clip range 55 to 85 millimeters. Because they have different sizes, they have different sizes, and this is the one I wanted, not the smaller one, but this one. This is another bracket holder bought at the same day by this individual here that you see, and exactly again with clip range from 55 to 85 millimeters. We have another individual right here, also from whom I have bought it. You see it here. And, well, whose product also supposed to range all the way up to 85 millimeters. Nothing as the case was with garbage that my neighbor have switched me.
All this mounts, holders, they don't seem to be exactly according to my expectations, or basically why I have ordered them. Okay, the maximum that I could stretch those would be up to about, I don't know, 68 millimeters. Is something like this? That's basically not what I ordered this for. Okay, that's not basically what I ordered this for. I ordered them for 5.5 inch Android. So why is this actually good enough only for 5-inch Androids? Well, definitely not because I would go and pay for that, but I believe because somebody did switch them, right? If you order 5 for 5.5, you get 5.5, not 5, and so on. There's another thing. What you have seen in a video appears to look like this. It appears to look like new, because in the meanwhile somebody stopped by and have changed whatever he destroyed within, like, I think he destroyed that within the 1 week with what you see here. And on top of that, with what you see here, and this also looks like brand new. So you see, the neighbor is not so bad. Came by and he replaced whatever he destroyed with brand new items. Not such a bad neighbor, huh? This thing, by the way, is missing on that one, but this you can attach and detach.
okay, and so how is it when you call eBay 1-800 number advertised by the Google? I'll tell you how it is. Many times I got instead Pizza Hut, I got marketing companies, and it took me even about 8 hours straight being transferred from one department to another department, just to be told at the end by the lady that the item which I have not even purchased, just went through the first stage when you click the button and say you want that item from the eBay, and then that item has to go through the second stage. That's when you pay through the PayPal system or whatever system you have selected. That's what it is under my case. But I would not go through that stuff. And so what that would do is it would place that thing on the top of the summary and suggest me to pay for it. And even if I would cancel that with the sellers, that thing would still flash on there. On what all of a sudden it would become listed just as one of the items that suggests me that I have purchased that item, that I did pay, finally did pay for one. And so you want to call, that item was like $27. I bought same for less, 25, but that thing was listed like I did finally did purchased one and stuff like this. And so when you call these people at eBay and they transfer you from one department to another department, you want to find out, well, why were you charged two of the same items, and you know that you actually have canceled that even with the sellers. Not that you have not only paid for one, but you have one canceled with the sellers. Finally, the lady at the end, she tells you that it's basically what I was told, and I did audio recorded that stuff. Conversation probably 2 hours long. Should I put this on the internet? I mean, is somebody's interested in this kind of abuse, really? Finally, the lady tells you in the end, she tells you, well, sir, you see, you don't have to worry about, it's not your fault that you don't have to worry, basically, like this. I don't have to worry about, because I have not made a mistake. Lost few hours. Obviously eBay did some serious mistakes, but that I should not worry. And so when you have this kind of situation with all other situations like this, and you don't actually even know what you have, what you paid and what you did not pay, and when you request the money return, some of the items just disappear. They disappear. Some other items do not disappear. Some other items are listed under the summary list, and some other items, you see, they disappear because they go into, I guess, into the money request, into return request, a return item request box or something like this. I have no idea how they do it, but under my eBay, it's pretty much how it is. Okay, so. Well, there you go. You can adjust one more time, but this time I'm going to give you original video so you can see it from up close with detail. What the item looked like. On the top you can see the spring. On the bottom you can see everything scratched, because for some reason that foam, that original, whatever that was, you know, gum, whatever that is used, original one, somehow have totally fallen apart. And I wonder how the hell that thing have fallen apart. I had to remove one because Android would keep jumping out of the this mount holder, so I had to remove mine. I didn't have choice. And like I said, I'd used double-sided foam and then SIM cards just to keep Androids in place. Item was then replaced with brand new item, as you have seen.
All this stuff that you see here, good stuff. First card I got, really good. It worked very well 1 week. Till I actually boasted loudly inside the room about one. Then the next thing you see is, I don't know, was it the same day or was it the next day, card was finished. And other cards like this that I bought it, they did not function at all. It was like a total crap. And it's something that neighbor also had promised me on the Remenke Ultra would be in respect to cards. I have no clue about it. More of these cables, because the ends of these cables, the plugs, the same fate with all of them. They would just keep basically falling apart. I don't know. It would just be one after another. They all would be. You could not attach them without basically a rubber band to the device. So I don't know. I don't know anything. This is good stuff. Recommend this. Good. Interesting was also the fact that the first card differed from the second card. And you can see here this was ordered from the same individual January 16, and this was ordered on a January 17, the next day, from the same guy. But the two cards look completely different. I don't even know if these are the cards from the same guy. Let's just put it this way. What's the problem with the DVR? With my computer, I could not get security features on my computer through the same cable that I have used for the monitor, for the regular monitor, where it worked with the monitor. But if I would try to connect to my computer security system, I could not. No matter what, it would just not work. So what I did was I bought this here with the idea that I'm going to connect through the security system, through the HDMI, but the HDMI was already, it never worked in this computer. Let's just call it the way it is. A brand new backpack was chopped.
Okay, this was reported already on February the 15th of 2018. Here it is. Here's the brand new, totally brand new backpack. This already destroyed in this house since my return from Belarus. How many backpacks are destroyed here? Two backpacks. Actually, one was already outdated backpack. They did not even produce one anymore and was switched one to me with the one that I have paid for, that I ordered, as you know. And so this is the backpack. This is a beautiful backpack, just 2 days old.
Here is the backpack. To me, personally, it didn't make any sense for me to even talk about these items that the neighbor have just cut. And he did cut this basically in such a way that I did not realize. The only thing I know is that when I loaded the stuff inside, very beautiful backpack otherwise, this thing was basically, it would just fell off. You can see here also he cut things. So if I would go with this thing would probably just wide open. And now there is a little problem here with this repairs here in Slovenia, because back in Russia, in Belarus, that was an easy thing to repair. It's not such a thing here, and that's why I went ahead and, instead of repairing this thing here, who knows how much this thing would cost me to repair here, maybe €5, maybe more. And so what I did was I decided to just go and purchase another backpack, because I need these backpacks anyway. I'm gonna need backpack like this. And that backpack, well, that one never ever came. Okay.
And because the first backpack was cut, destroyed, and well, basically in the same fashion as you have seen, the same fashion as backpacks were destroyed to me in Hungary, in Ukraine, and in Belarus. However, for the difference of Belarus, where I could just go and give some grandma money to repair me backpacks, They did. For not much money, you could get one fixed. It was money too. It was expensive, but it's not as expensive it is in Slovenia. In Slovenia, who knows how much, they're gonna charge me because that backpack is just stored now. It's useless basically. I have instead decided to just get one more for price of $15. Probably the repair of that thing is gonna cost me $5, maybe more. So I said, let me just get one more because I'm gonna need one anyways. It's really good backpack. I recommend one. And so I did order one on February the 27th of 2018. Waited for this item to come for like 2 months. Item never came, and then the seller contacted me because, I didn't even want to, how can I say, I was so depressed in respect to my neighbor that I didn't want to ask for money back anymore because, I don't know what people are going to think about me, as simple as that. I mean, this is how far things went. A seller contacted me and asked me kindly if I ever got the backpack, on what he refunded me money since I never did. Where's this backpack? Nobody knows. Not the seller know, not I do. That means probably is the next door right here across the road at a Donegal.
Oh yes, regarding the battery psychiatrist that I previously mentioned, how I reminded myself of psychiatrist's involvement in it. I was told like this. It's exactly how I was told. There will be batteries, and they were batteries. But when the chargers are gonna come, one charger stopped working. One of the chargers, he also whacked me one charger. That was the charger I bought in the store also. Stopped working. So what I did was I ordered additional chargers. And when that charger came, and that's exactly what psychiatrist Zoran Muja told me. That's when the memory kicked in. Everything about, about other people involved in this case. Exactly what he told me was, there will be batteries, but when the charger comes, when the power banks come, the batteries will disappear. And that's exactly what the case was. That's when I reminded myself on few things. So, in a way, he did give me a hint about what went on. Then I reminded myself of Tatiana production and what the hell went on here and stuff like this. Then it became clear. I already have spoken about microscopes. Not going to go into that. I believe the lens were switched from the microscopes. And again, more cables and more cables.
Alright, this is already basically the third backpack here in Slovenia. This backpack is the one, as I have stated, never arrived. Interesting enough, isn't it, that eBay placed one 2 months later on the top of my summary and have suggested how I did not pay for one. And look at the date. The date is just the one that you have just seen right now, February the 27th of 2018. I mean, this is how eBay does this stuff, and so, it's really bizarre. It's difficult to track. They lie. They do all kinds of stuff. So this is a perfect proof of what eBay does, basically. Okay, you can see individual have contacted me. As a matter of fact, he contacted me faster. And how it all started. Thank you for shopping in our store. It's been more than 20 days. Have you ever received a package? I never received one, still waiting, thank you. And he goes, thank you, and here's the money back. Okay, and so yeah, this thing was paid for. So why is it that you know, what is it eBay? What is eBay trying to say here? Suggest that you know, item was not being paid for. Of course, it was paid for.
This is the stuff you already have seen, as I have opened one. Like I said, I got two other cards. I don't know what to say about them. I did not even try them. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna try them. The only thing I can say is all three cards look different from the fourth one, which actually was the first one. What, why, how, this and that, I don't have a clue, but you can see all this stuff was purchased from the same guy, Beep Shop. Okay, so why, how? I was so impressed with the card when I got one, the way it worked. It was so great, like 32 gigabytes for like $4.70, so nice that I purchased some more. And it, you know what? It was money thrown away. Unhappy with the microscopes. I bought some more because of what was done to me. This one was actually bought from somebody else. Here you can see that. You can see here some more tempered glass protection screen. Again, none of this ever arrived to me. Two more you can see right here. As I was told that under MK Ultra, what the case would be. We're going to scratch you the screens, we're going to destroy you the screens, and we're never ever going to allow you to purchase through the internet cheap screens which you could use to replace them. So this is going to be the stuff that will remind you of what we have done to you. If this is not sick, I don't know really what sick possibly can be. It's pretty sickening, I would say. To have a psychopath like this is pretty damn sickening. This stuff all good. This stuff all good. I don't have any other complaints in respect to any of this stuff. I don't know. Now it's April the 23rd. Of 2018. The only thing I can say is that this individual was playing with the lasers, with the tasers. He had a professional police taser guns. Have threatened me on how he's going to use them against me in case I would catch him anywhere. And the only thing I can say is the stuff that you see here, ordered on March 11, 2018. March 11, 2018. None of this two I ever got. None of.
Alright, but this basically is what...
And to understand how it works, then they were allowed to...
that's basically is what Hollywood have brought and have played here in this house already in 2005, 2004 they had this kind of crap. I don't know how much was this on the market, but the US government had these things and they were playing with this kind of stuff and threatened me, if he's gonna get you, if you're gonna catch him inside the house, he would have this kind of equipment and it would hurt dearly. Imagine individual doing the stuff this individual have done to me. Imagine to catch individual in an act, you don't really have a chance because against micro cameras you don't see any chance. But imagine catching him and him using taser on you instead, so you cannot even video record him. All this stuff went on, entire 6 months went on under the close supervision of psychiatrists. Don't think about Big Brother is watching you. Think about the loony in a white uniform, a maniac psychiatrist watching you, how this guy is destroying, wrecking all your equipment, and you were told in advance what the situation is going to be. This is the stuff we're talking about, folks. And this psychiatrist, they have written on the report that I'm actually violent, although I have never ever committed a single act of violence in my life. Imagine yourself for a moment in my situation, in my skin. I have never ever requested any help from healthcare services, from medical services. These people have done for me 0.nothing, ever. Nothing. The only thing this health services, you know, healthcare was basically used for the stuff that I have talked about, basically psychiatry, exercising extreme violence, physical and psychological terror on me. That's all that ever was. And when it comes to the police was used to impose like more brutality on me. Like they would be used like to protect him, basically, teach him how to do it, give him special trainings together with psychiatrists, basically engage in crime with him against me. You go to the police station to report a crime, the only thing that happens is they start to go after you. That's the kind of police I'm talking about. This is the kind of government services, basically, I am talking about. Folks, how would you feel to live like this? How would that be for you?
This toy I ever got, believe me, the stuff comes from China within 2 weeks. 3 weeks, almost the latest. A month the latest. That's all there is to it. This stuff here, not even the stuff I have ordered, as I have demonstrated. I got this. You see this? All this stuff that doesn't matter, that was ordered also on a March 11, I got. But I didn't get the stuff that matters to him. This is another laser I didn't get.
What also did not come, what also was stolen from me, basically I had 2 knives, very compact, nice knives, fit in the pocket, nice. Both of those knives, one was destroyed. I have thrown one away. Unfortunately I did, and the second one was just stolen from me by this very individual. So he basically, anything that I could use for self-defense, it was taken away from me. The air gun was destroyed. Before I got one, the air gun was destroyed. This is another issue I have written about on my news site. The BB gun was destroyed. Basically totally disarming me. And psychiatrists Zoran Muja, Tatiana Prokshir, by the way, you can get ready because now I am coming for you. Now I am coming to take you away. And you're going to see how. This I'm going to use as an additional proof against these 2 people. Extremely abusive, terrorist people, government employees, that would suggest me, together with my neighbor, that this would actually be even used as an example on how dangerous demented people can become. And so what they would do is, they would, parallel to the stuff that went on downstairs, they would start to release articles on how to rearrange the house for the people that are demented. What kind of approach families should have toward those people, because people like myself, according to them, are just violent. And they did exercise this kind of terror this time again through the RTV Slovenia, through the main state network. All this stuff, folks, I was told in advance under MK Ultra they will do. So this is the Slovenian state suggested me. Borut Pahor suggested that my case actually would be used to point out to the families, that actually was suggested in respect to the laser, in respect to that kind of stuff that I ordered, that it's dangerous that demented people can get this type of items in their hands, and my case would actually be used to change the law somehow, to impact the law that would somehow restrict people like myself from even obtaining lasers obviously, I don't know, knives, stuff like this. So when I say I am coming to take you away, I am coming to take you away. Make no mistake about that. That's exactly the case I am talking about. You can see exactly one of the articles here that was published on April 2018 and so on. I was told by Tatiana Proksho, by Zoran Muja, the two maniacs, psychiatrists involved against me on behalf of Belgrade and Moscow, on how they will, parallel to the stuff that will go on against me, also start to suggest people something like this. They have suggested me also that there will be cameras and that the stuff about me will be transmitted throughout the internet. There will be people who will be watching basically this kind of program in universities, psychiatrists and stuff like this. So do you think that this is not violent, this kind of approach? Do you think that this is normal to treat a human being like this? The next article was released on, let's see, June 2017. This was earlier. This is the earlier article, but basically this is before it all started, right? This is in 2017, before it all started. Imagine yourself in my situation and somebody suggesting that you are mentally sick, you're not mentally sick, and the articles even come out where it's suggested that people should not say that something is wrong with you because it doesn't make sense. Then there is another article here, this one here, that was also released April the 6th of 2018. Again, the same thing here on how demented people should be treated. But the main one was this one here. This is the main thing. I did move downstairs, and exactly as they have anticipated, exactly as they have told me I would, exactly what they have procrastinated, and what they have accomplished with extreme use of violence, with directed energy weapons, if you remember, that left me several times in a situation that I no longer knew, even if I'm going to be writing anymore on the if I'm going to be publishing videos, run my news site and so on. I mean, so this is what this psychiatrist is saying, that it's normal. It's normal to treat the people like this. This is not violent. This is normal to attack individual and physically destroy his property, degrade him, psychologically humiliate him, deny him employment, destroy him, basically. This is normal, this is acceptable, this is civilized. Well, the folks, this is Slovenia. And this is why I have asked you, and I am asking you, please throw Slovenia out of United Nations. Throw Slovenia. This is a Russian satellite, Moscow satellite, Kremlin satellite state is this. This is a Belgrade, basically. Throw one out of European Union and throw one out of United Nations. You're able to see what happened just in Moscow 3 days ago, how they have beaten up people over there, have arrested 1,600 and so on. Throw them out. Nobody treats own citizens like this, and this is happening actually inside of the Europe. As a matter of fact, inside of the European Union. Or your reputation is going to suffer together with these maniacs, with these lunatics, with these violent lunatics. Throw them out of the European Union. I don't know how much you have seen. I'm not sure why they would release Vojislav Šešelj, That's a Chetnik. That's a Chetnik is like a Ustasha, like a SS, like a Gestapo, you know, just Serbian. Chetnik. Chetnik is Chetniks. You know, these people. What they would do also is they would only want to go and stab people with the knives and do all kinds of atrocities in Serbia and Balkans, also in Bosnia, to the Croatian people, to the Bosnian people, to Albanian people, basically raising Serbian flag and what can I say? They bombed here Slovenia. They came out with the tanks here in this country. They destroyed Vukovar. They burned Croatia. They burned Bosnia. They burned Kosovo. And this is what Serbian President Aleksandar Vučević, who was involved in this case, and for whom Zoran Muđa, that's a Chetnik from Ljubljana. This is a psychiatrist, same rank like a Ustasha, you know, like just Serbian, you know. That's a basically Gestapo, neo-Nazi in a red uniform. He sees himself as a Yugoslav, as a communist, maybe even something like this. Wears the red uniform, and under that red uniform is, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, you could not mistaken him with Gestapo, with the SS, with the people who were guards inside of the Auschwitz, inside of the concentration camps. This is the kind of people we're talking about, and these people are connected like this, like this, with Moscow, with Kremlin. And again, in respect to the war in Yugoslavia, the only thing that I have to say is that Clinton, when they bombed Serbia in 91, 92, 91, did very well. They did exactly what they should have done, maybe perhaps even more. Because, why? Because here in Balkans, and it's not only here, it's everywhere, we Slavs in Slovenia, natives here, we are a little bit less Slavic than Serbs are. And Croats in Croatia are a little bit less Slavic than Serbs are. And so our Bosnians are a little bit less Slavic than Serbs are. And it was not, you know, that Russia claimed we didn't have anything we could interfere and prevent the war in Yugoslavia. This is not true at all. They didn't want, because when the Serbian was the slaughtering, when they were doing the kill of the Yugoslav people all over the territory of Yugoslavia, Russians did not want to interfere. But when America did interfere, when they stopped it, that's when the Russians started to talk about Slavic brotherhood and bad America and so on. You get it? This is what this is all about, folks. And it was the same in Poland, and it is the same in Ukraine, and it's the same in Belarus, even in Belarus and so on. Some animals are just a little bit more equal than others. As a matter of fact, some Slavs are a little bit more Slavic than others, and therefore they are treated accordingly to that. Again, this is not against the Russian people, this is not against the Serbian people. As a matter of fact, what I am going to look forward to, not only because Serbs have helped us during the Second World War, they really did. They gave to our families refuge in Serbia, but it's because we need Serbs. We need Russians to establish democracy in our countries. Do you know how that's done actually? That's done through the Russia and through the Serbia. Using Russian people who want democracy, a real democracy, not a neo-Nazism and not some kind of neo-Nazism, as a matter of fact, in red coats, but you know, a democracy. And what that basically means is that our countries actually have to make sure, our countries have to ensure that the people that are for those kind of ideals for the real democracy in Russia and in Serbia get the real refuge, or get the real protection, not as the case was with me in the US, where I would go to the US and you would have actually KGB coming inside of my apartment together with the US government to take me overseas, and